Welcome to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Badass Direct Sales Mastery is a podcast for rock star direct sales moms who are determined to make their business kick ass. Jennie will share her knowledge of effective sales and recruiting techniques, tips to get what you want from your business, and will interview direct sales professionals and leaders from various companies. The interviews will give insight to how these rock stars got to where they are and where they plan to grow in the future. And now, the direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger.
Welcome back to another episode of Badass Direct Sales Mastery. I'm your host, your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger, helping you whip your business into shape. And it is now the end of the year. You are probably in the middle of Christmas crazy, or you've just finished all of your Hanukkah fun, and there's still yet another holiday after that, the New Year coming up. And you also have probably started to think about your business goals and your goals in general for next year. And if you haven't, well, now I've just planted the seed. It's time for you to get thinking about it. Now, if you haven't already done your goal setting and vision board for 2024, let's do this. We're going to talk about it right now. I'm going to give you all kinds of great information. And even if you have, maybe you're like me and you already got started on these ideas, these goal setting, the vision board, you've already worked on it, you've already done it. I still invite you to stay on and listen for any valuable suggestions or tweaks to the ones that you've already done and see if it can help you improve them just a little bit. Well, let's start with why we're talking about this now rather than in January. Well, frankly, if you are waiting until January to set your goals, you're already behind the eight ball. You are getting a slower start to your year than you could be because your brain needs time to begin to process, especially those of us who are ADHD and are super creative. Because what happens is when we start thinking about these things, we have all these ideas of what we want to do and what we want to create and what we want to see happen. And if we don't take time to get it out of our head and begin to write it down or brain dump or create a vision board with all these different things, then what happens is we spend time in that space where we could have already been getting work done. So if we do it now, we have time to start getting our thoughts together, getting things moving, and putting a plan together. And that's also what I'm going to help you with today. So that's why we're working on this now, and we're not waiting until January to do this. So I want to talk first about the goal setting piece. All right. So when I work with my clients, I work with them on having smarter goals. So you've probably heard about SMART goals, but I do mine a little bit differently. I make them smarter because, the direct sales dom, smart is not good enough. We're going a little harder, right? So SMART goals, smarter goals are this. S is specific. And we're going to go into detail on each of these in just a moment. But I want you to have an idea of what the smarter goals are. So specific. M, measurable. A, attainable. R, results oriented. T, time bound. E, evaluations. And R, the second R, rewards and consequences or punishment. So if you're someone who was already familiar with smarter goals, you probably had a little bit of a brain hiccup when I said results oriented because you're used to hearing realistic. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, attainable or achievable and realistic are all kind of the same thing. So that felt really redundant and frankly stupid to me. So for me, I go for the word attainable rather than achievable. Just because I like to think about the attainable as being a stretch right? So it is attainable, but you've got to stretch to get there, right? And results oriented allows you to focus on what's the outcome of that goal, right? So not just setting a goal for the sake of setting a goal, but what are you going to get out of having that goal achieved? So you need to understand not just what the goal is, but what you and others are going to get out of when that goal happens. Okay. So let's start with specific. Each one of the goals that you're going to set moving forward needs to be very specific. So it's not, I'm going to have a better business in 2024. Well, if you sell one more dollar in 2024 than you did in 2023, that makes it a better business. But is that what you meant by better? So be specific, give percentages, exact dollar amounts, set specific dollar amounts. So maybe in 2023, you've sold $10,000 or $12,000 worth of product. We'll say $1,000 a month. Well, maybe in 2024, you want to increase that, right? And so you'll say in 2024, I want to sell $20,000 worth of product or $24,000 worth of product, right? So give a specific number. Be specific. Specific is terrific. Now, I've heard from people before that they have a hard time setting goals or being very specific in their goals because when they don't achieve them or if they don't achieve them, they get really hard on themselves. You know, they feel bad. But here's the thing. If you set a goal and you're specific and it's attainable, it's a stretch, it's a little out of reach, and you don't make it within the time bound, within the deadline, but you got 80% of the way there or 90% of the way there, why are you feeling bad? Especially if your stretch goal was a much larger percent over what your previous results were, right? So maybe in 2023, you had done 12,000, you set a goal of 24,000 to double, and you hit 20,000 instead of 24,000. Are you really going to get that hard on yourself that you increased $8,000 in sales from one year to the next? That's crazy. You did $8,000 more in sales. So then it's just a matter of going, okay, what's it going to take to get that extra bit next year? So maybe then in 2025, you can bump it from 24,000 to 30,000, right? Maybe not 36 because you're not going to quite triple, but maybe you could. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just throwing that out there because part of the reason is because people are looking at how far away they are from the goal instead of looking at how far away they are from where they started, right? So focus on the right thing when it comes to goal setting. All right. So be specific and it's got to be measurable, right? Again, going back to that nebulous goal of I want it to be better. Well, how do you measure a better business? How do you measure being a better parent? How do you measure having a better life, right? You've got to have it be measurable. We need to know what we're looking for so we can see if you've achieved that goal or not. So if you're going to create a better business, is it more sales? Is it a bigger team? Maybe it's both. It's got to be measurable, right? I want better health. Well, what does that mean? What are you going to measure that by? You're going to measure that by choices that you make. Are you going to measure that by weight that is lost? Are you going to measure that by how much further you can walk in a day? How many more steps you're doing? Are you going to measure that by how much more weight you're bench pressing or leg pressing or whatever it may be? What's the measurable piece of that? As I said, so now we've said specific, measurable, and the next one is attainable. So what have you already done in the past towards that particular goal? And what's the next stretch piece? How can you take that higher and a little bit further, right? So this is where we're rocking that balance between what you've already done. So you know you can do that, right? Because you've done it. And that big, hairy, audacious goal, the BHAG, or the wildly important goal, or something that seems almost out of reach, right? Taking it to that next level and making it attainable and just pushing that number maybe a little bit further. So, like I said, maybe you did 12,000 this year. Next year, you want to do 24,000. Double your sales. Can I do twice as much in sales each month? I don't know. Maybe you go 50% more. So maybe instead of the 24,000, maybe you say 18,000, right? Half as much more. Feels better to you, but then push it up a little and say, okay, you know what? 18,000 is half as much. What if I said, let's round it up to 20, right? That's the stretch. So if you're like, I feel like I could do 50% more, right? So push it to 20, bump it up just that little bit more, because that makes it attainable. And that stretch goal, how much further are you willing to go to reach that goal? Results oriented. What's the outcome? Why does this goal matter to you? What's going to happen when you reach that goal? You've got to know what the results are going to be. So you create $20,000 more in sales. You know what your commission structure is. So now you know how much more money you made with your business. What does that extra money do in your life? What does that extra money allow you to create? Does it create more relief, more peace? Does it allow you to take your family on another vacation? Does that extra money allow you to pay off a credit card? What is the result? What are you going to do with that extra money if we're using that as the example? What's the result of better health? Why is it that you are going after a better health goal, right? What is the result? You're going to be able to spend more time with your kids or grandkids, right? You're going to be able to play with them more without getting out of breath and being, feeling old, right? Or out of shape, whatever that may be. What are the results? Include this in your goal setting. Time bound. When is it happening? What is the deadline? By December 31st, 2024, I will. Right? Put that deadline on there. I know it's scary. I feel that. I've been there before. I'm putting that deadline out there for myself for some of my own goals, right? And yet, without that deadline, especially those of you who, like me, are ADHD, if there is no deadline, it ain't going to happen, right? We know our brains well enough. We know how we react to things well enough to know that we need that deadline, because it pushes us to actually do more, create more, take action and do things. Now, unfortunately, sometimes we procrastinate, but I'll address that in a little bit. The E is evaluations. How are you going to evaluate your progress on the goal? When are you going to evaluate progress on the goal? Right? So your deadline on the final goal may be this, but are there benchmarks in there? So this is what makes it smarter. So if you're setting an annual sales goal, when are you going to evaluate your progress on this goal? Is it each month? Is it every quarter? Is it at the 6-month point? When and how are you going to evaluate this? When and how are you going to evaluate this? And figuring out when to put it in there. And finally, when you have a smarter goal, the last part is that rewards and consequences, or rewards and punishments. So when you reach that goal, what's the reward? How are you going to reward yourself? So the results and the rewards are different, because the results are what you get out of the goal being achieved. The reward is how you celebrate that it was achieved. So recently, those of you who follow Badass Direct Sales Mastery on Facebook know that I hit 1,000 followers. And at the time of this recording, I haven't celebrated yet because I was waiting for people to give me some ideas of what you guys would want to see when I celebrate 1,000 followers. So a couple people have given ideas. So my kids and I are working on making that happen right now. But what are the rewards? How are you going to celebrate? And if you don't achieve the goal, what are the consequences other than just feeling bad? Right. So for me right now, I've got a goal or I've got a rule in place for myself that I haven't hit a $10,000 month in a while. So it's time to hit another $10,000 month. And until I hit the $10,000 month, I'm not allowed to have sushi. I love sushi. And I'm saying, nope, not till I have a $10,000 month again. Then I get to have sushi again. So my reward is I get to have sushi every month that I don't have a $10,000 month. Now, I just set this rule for myself a couple of weeks ago. So we're still working on it, but still, I haven't had sushi. My kids asked for sushi the other day, and I was like, sorry, guys, mommy can't have it. Now, if we go there, you guys can have it. I can't have it. So, but I prefer not to torture myself with that. So they agreed to not torture mommy with mommy not getting to have sushi. Give me another few weeks and I might force myself into torture. So, continuing on. So, let's look now that we've talked about smarter goals, specific, measurable, attainable, results oriented, time bound evaluations, and rewards and punishments. What are the different areas of where you can create goals? Well, obviously, there's your life goals. And this could be health goals, personal goals, fun goals. Yes. And so I'm going to thank my friend Elizabeth Larson, who introduced me to making sure that when you're setting goals, make sure you have a fun goal and a personal goal and a business goal. So those are the three that I generally focus on, are business, personal, and fun. So I fit health goals under the personal. Fun goals might be a vacation or a fun activity you're going to do, because I think it's really important for you to actually build and create the life that you want to live and not wait for you to have the perfect business before you allow yourself to live the life you want to live. So set those personal, fun, and business goals in those different areas of life. Now let's jump into the business goal piece. Now, those of you who are listening, vast majority of you are in direct sales, network marketing, and MLM, which means many of you are going to probably be setting goals in one of three areas, and maybe all three areas, in order to create a complete business goal for 2023. And those three areas are sales, sponsoring, and leadership. I'm going to say it again in case you're taking notes. Sales, sponsoring, and leadership. So for these three goals, the sales goal, you need to know, who are you selling to and how much are you selling? Get specific. Sponsoring, who are you going to sponsor and how many? Your leadership goal, who are you as a leader? And when are you going to learn how to become that leader? Now, how are you going to increase your sales, your sponsoring, and your leadership? I'll come back to the how in just a moment. Because now that we've talked about goals, I want to bring up the vision board piece, because I've addressed it a couple of times, brought it up. And so I think it's really important, if you've never created a vision board, to do it at least once. Give it a try. The reason being is it goals, until they have pictures in front of you, feel really nebulous and not as achievable. The vision board helps you really gain visual clarity around what you want, and it turns your dreams into goals. It becomes a way to guide your life and your business moving forward. It can help you create an action plan. It can help you even with making decisions, and it tracks your achievements, because when you achieve something on your vision board, you get to put a great big sticker or check mark, or however it is, cover it in glitter if you want to show that you have completed it, because now it's sparkly, right? I don't care what you do, but you use the vision board to do all of those things. See how useful it already is, and you maybe already haven't made one yet. So let's start with the do's and the don'ts of vision board creation. So the first thing is you've got to picture what you do want. Focus what you do want and use positive language on your vision board. So for example, I see a lot of people say, I want to be debt free. That sounds positive, but here's the thing. You have the word debt on your vision board. The brain cannot conceive of things in the negative. So when it sees debt, what does it create? More debt. So instead, you want to be financially free. You want to be financially stable. You want to be financially in the positive, whatever it may be. Create that positive language. Make sure that on your vision board, you use as much or as little of the space as you want. I've seen people who have vision boards that are so covered you can't even see the poster board that's underneath. There are others I've seen, including myself. There's a lot of white space, but I use a lot of words and pictures, but I leave white space for the availability to add to it throughout the year. Another do for vision boarding is keep the vision board visible. Do not make that vision board and then go stick it in a closet. Make sure you can see it all the time. My vision boards are on my way to my desk, so I see them. Even if I don't stop and look at them, I see them every single day. When you see your vision board every single day, even if you don't look at it, your brain still sees it and it's looking and going, what of those can I work on today? Now, the other important do when it comes to vision boarding is take some time every single month to review it. So put a time in your calendar. I don't care if you make it the last day of the month, the first day of the month, whatever you want to do, somewhere in the middle. Pick a time where you go, okay, today is vision board review day. And you just spend 15, 20, 30 minutes going over what's on your vision board. What have you accomplished? What's your progress on each of those visions and goals? And use the vision board to create your action plan so that you can achieve the goals. What do I need to do next? What's the next step? Use your vision board to make tough decisions. If you're sitting there going, oh, should I do this thing? Should I not do this thing? If you're in decision-making mode and you really can't decide, look at your vision board. Which side of the decision allows you to move towards your goals, or does this decision move you away from achieving your goals? So you no longer have to rely on yourself just making the tough decisions. You can use your vision board to do this. The don'ts of vision boarding is, of course, the opposite of all the things we just talked about. Don't put pictures of things that you want to avoid. Don't use negative language. Don't feel like you should put something on your board. Oh, I should put this thing on because I feel like I should want this thing. No, do not let other people should you. Meaning, don't let other people's voices in your head saying, well, you should do this. No. Your vision board, your life, you create it. You decide. Do not put your vision board away. Do not hide it away. Do not wait to review it each year. Do it every single month. Do it every other week. I don't care. Pick a time, but do not do it once a year. Don't assume that just creating it will make your dreams come true. Wrong. There's a lot of people who have this misconception that, oh, if you just create a vision board, it just magically makes things come true. No, it's a part of setting the intention in your brain, making it more visual and attainable, and then use the vision board as a tool. If you don't use the tool, if you don't use the hammer, the nail is not going to go in the freaking wall. The same is true with your vision board. You've got to use the vision board to hammer that nail, put that goal into action and follow up with it. And make sure that you do not treat your vision board with disrespect, because what you care for blooms. When you take care of that vision board, when you put it in a place of respect and reverence, guess what happens to the way that you see and feel about your goals and your visions? They become a place that you respect and revere and reflect and allow to grow. Now, I'm going to get into the how, because we've talked about goals, we've talked about vision boards, and now the how. Now, if you were listening to the Mary Kay Duffy Kemper episode back in September, it was titled, and one of her major quotes that she says a lot is that it's not in the how, it's in the allow. Yes, and allow me to share possible hows with you. If you have created business goals that include growth of sales, incorporating more sponsoring and sponsorship and recruiting in your business and the business of your team, and leadership, if that's been a part of one of your goals, let me share with you some hows and some options with that. If you've been paying attention to my Facebook page, you probably know that I've been having a beta test program of my Sales Accelerator program. And it's been running now for 3 months. And the people who are participating actively love it. I am getting rave reviews from what people are learning and achieving in their business. The Sales Accelerator program is a 3-part program. It includes training, support, and accountability over the course of an entire year. The launch party, where I am launching this for the whole world, and I say that tongue in cheek because really this is being launched to you as my podcast listeners, as my badass crew. This is being released to and launched to my referral partners, top leaders in the industry who are making this program available to their team members. And that's it. Because I'm looking to make a difference for people who want to increase their sales in 2024 and are willing to invest in that increase in sales, learning what they need to learn through bite size, as my client Brian told me today. I love these because they're bite size pieces of training. The activities are bite size. I'm able to go do a little something each week in my business and each day in my business. And I know I'm making progress forward. There's support. So once a month, a Q&A session where you can come on to the Zoom call and ask me anything. Ask me literally anything. And really, it can be about the training. It can be about the homework. It can be about something that we haven't even addressed yet in the program. And I will answer it for you. And during that call, one person will be selected. One person who's on the call will be selected each month to receive a spotlight coaching right there, help in their specific business in order to move forward. And the benefit is when you get to be in the room when that person is being coached, there's a good chance you have that same issue going on in your life and business. And so you are getting coaching at the same time. And of course, the most important piece in this program is the accountability piece. I'm offering daily accountability for those who would like accountability at the time that you need it. What are you going to get done? What was your progress today? Every day. So the Sales Accelerator program is launching. The link, if you would like to be part of the launch party on the day that it launches on January 3rd of 2023, January 3rd of 2024. Isn't it great that you don't have to be perfect to be a podcaster? It is launching on January 3rd of 2024. And if you want to be part of the live launch, you want to jump in and be part of the launch party and get the special deals, gifts, prizes, everything that is happening at that party, because it's Jennie. We know how to party. We're going to have fun. If you want to be a part of that, the link is in the show notes, or you can probably just go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com and we will have it splashed everywhere for you to register to join us for that launch party on January 3rd. Now, if you're hearing this after January 6th, so sorry you missed it, but the program is still available, but no more special deals. If you have sponsoring or recruiting as part of your plan to grow your business in 2024, and you're wondering, how am I going to do this? I just know that I want to do more of it, but I don't know how. In 2024, every other month, I am offering the sponsoring masterclass. In the show notes, you will see a link to my events. Go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com/events to see when the sponsoring masterclasses are being held. The tickets are available and the Badass crew gets preferred pricing. Just use coupon code Badass Crew and you will see your preferred pricing on that ticket. The leadership piece. If leadership is an area in which you do not feel competent, confident, or even vaguely comfortable, then the Certified Badass Direct Sales Leader program may be the one for you. On February 1st, I'm launching my next class of the Certified Badass Direct Sales Leader program. I only have 9 spots left. There's already one person who has signed up. And by the way, when you choose to do the Certified Badass Direct Sales Leader program, I will throw in the sponsoring masterclass ticket at no additional charge. In the Certified Badass Direct Sales Leader program, it is a 12-week program where participants discover their leadership gaps. Where is it that they're missing things? Why is it that they're not feeling comfortable or competent or confident? You get to grow together with 9 other leaders, helping each other, pushing each other to grow together. And finally, gain confidence as a leader because you're going to define the leader that you will become through this program. This program is a custom program, which is why I only have 10 people in the program at a time. So if this is something that leadership is an area in 2024 that you want to develop, where you want to grow, then the Certified Badass Direct Sales Leader program is for you. So you are going to go check out badassdirectsalesmastery.com. You are going to make sure you click on, and I'm looking through my links right now, badassdirectsalesmastery.com/certified-badass-direct-sales-leader. In other words, go to the show notes and click the link. Go to the show notes and click the link because you want to get into this program. I have thousands of listeners of the podcast, and only 10 are going to be able to be participating in this program February, March, and April of 2024. The next time I will offer this opportunity will be June, July, and August of 2024. So if you miss out in the first round, you'll be able to hit the second round. So with all the things we talked about, goal setting, vision board, and the how to get these goals, how to achieve them, what is the mechanism by which you are going to achieve these goals, make sure you check the show notes. We have key takeaways. We have specific links to help you out and coupon codes for some of these options and offerings for you. Now, you don't have to take any of them. You're welcome to just take the information I shared with you today, and that's all you ever do. Taking no action towards that is also an option. But if you want to achieve your goals, what are you going to do to make it happen in 2024? So, badass crew, I want the best for you. I want to be the best for you. And I want you to have transcendent joy. So I wish you happy holidays. Have a happy, safe, and healthy New Year celebration. And I hope to see you at the launch party or in the sponsoring masterclass or in the Certified Badass Direct Sales Leader program in 2024. And stay tuned, badass crew, because you know how this goes. There's another badass episode on its way.
Thanks for listening to the Badass Direct Sales Mastery Podcast with your direct sales dom, Jennie Bellinger. Why are you waiting to go to badassdirectsalesmastery.com? Don't make the dom get her whip. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to share it with another rock star that you know in direct sales after you subscribe to the podcast so you won't miss any future episodes. You can also check out the show notes for links and any contact information mentioned in today's episode. We'll see you next time.